Alright guys, so we're back for episode 3, and on this week's episode we're going to be talking about Chris Conte. How's he feeling after that stiff arm? Roughing the passer, how do you not get called for it? What did James Harrison say Le'Veon Bell should do? And Colin Kaepernick, is he back in the headlines? All that and more on this episode of Julie's Playbook that starts now. Alright guys, so the first topic we have to talk about is Chris Conte and how's he feeling after that game Monday night. Vance McDonald caught a beautiful 75-yard pass and ran it into the end zone. And en route to the end zone, he ran over Chris Conte and performed what I think is going to be the stiff arm of the year. Things went from bad to worse real quick for Chris Conte because he then left the game with a knee injury. A knee injury that now has him placed on IR. And as for Vance McDonald, a lot of Steeler fans are finally seeing why the Steelers brought him in. The 49ers didn't really know how to use his raw talent, and as Pittsburgh knows, Ben Roethlisberger loves to use his tight ends as a security blanket. We haven't really had that great of a security blanket since the departure of Heath Miller. Of course, he retired. Jesse James, he filled in pretty well for him, but I think Vance McDonald saying that he's healthy is going to be a perfect fit for the Steelers. Alright, so the next topic we have to talk about is Mike Hilton. And where did he come from? He's a raw emerging talent, and I got to talk to him last training camp and this training camp, and man, I just love the guy. He's going to be a perfect fit for the Steelers secondary. Last week he had 5 tackles, 1 interception, and 1 pass deflection. He left the game late with an elbow injury and was seen at practice with his arm still in a sling, so there's no word if he's going to get to start this Sunday, but I think in the games to come, he's going to be one of the biggest factors in the Steelers secondary, a factor that we've been looking for because, of course, the Steelers secondary has been broken and we're still trying to put the pieces together. Alright, so it's Baker time in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield did the unthinkable and led the Browns to their first victory in over 2 years. He threw for 201 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Carlos Hyde did run in a couple touchdowns, but Baker set up the field position for him. Tyrod Taylor was cleared for concussion protocol, but I think it's Baker's team. Baker Mayfield won the starting position in his debut game. But here's another thing. A lot of people are comparing Baker Mayfield to Johnny Manziel. I think Baker's a better quarterback, but here's a fun fact for you. Baker Mayfield only has to win 1 more game before he ties Johnny Manziel's win record. And I think he's going to do it. I'm not saying the Browns are going to have a winning season, but I definitely think they're going to win more than 2 games this year. Alright, so James Harrison doing interviews? What? Since when does that happen? Well, he did an interview and he came out and he said Le'Veon Bell should fake an injury upon return. Why? Well, the Steelers technically have him until next season because they placed the franchise tag on him. And that means the earliest he can leave is July to get the long-term deal he wants. So Harrison said the running back should return November 13th and will participate in the media and the practices so other teams can see what he can do. But fake an injury come game day. I think that's completely crazy because I think if Le'Veon Bell returns, he better be happy if he gets any playing time because I don't see him getting very much playing time because the Steelers are very confident in their young running back, James Conner. Alright, so Eric Reid's back in the NFL. The Panthers signed him to a 1-year deal. Eric Reid was one of the first players that knelt with Colin Kaepernick during the national anthem. Colin Kaepernick is happy for his former teammate, but here's the big question. Will Colin Kaepernick come back to the NFL? Fans are rallying behind Kaepernick to get him his 7 jersey back because starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo went down with a torn ACL injury. The fans that once booed him off the field now want him back. But here's the big question. Will Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers welcome him back? Alright, so roughing the passer. How do you not get called for it? Clay Matthews has been called almost every week for roughing the passer. William Hayes tears his ACL trying not to put his full weight on Derek Carr. Even Derek Carr said he wishes William Hayes would have just hit him. Yes, you have $20 million quarterbacks out there, but when you sign up to play the game of football, you know that you're going to have to take a hit. And should making $20 million be easy? I think the NFL should loosen up a little bit on these roughing the passer calls and teach your quarterbacks how to take a hit. Alright, so quarterback Ben Roethlisberger was named AFC Offensive Player of the Week. That's a big award for the quarterback. He threw for 353 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. I look for more of this out of Ben Roethlisberger this year because I feel like our offense is finally starting to click. So keep an eye out for Ben and more awards to come. Alright, so that does it for this week's episode of Julie's Playbook. Like, share, comment on video. And of course, if you want to talk about anything sports related, get a hold of me. But until then, that's a wrap.